That shit look crazy as hell.
Holy shit. That is hilarious.
The ears, though.
That is the dopest shit. I have to take a picture of that.
Yeah. I'm the God.
Broadcasting live with Jesus.
Word, fam.
Jesus.
From San Francisco. They on lockdown, but I ain't. You know what I'm saying? Yo,
said,
that shit actually
I decided to take a walk this morning.
That shit actually freaking me out, fam.
What is?
That damn image.
Hey.
That shit weird as hell.
Oh shit.
That shit funny, dog.
Like,
with that Damien music in the background. Motherfuckers see
like,
this, it's the end of the world, I promise you.
The devil is on the screen.
On the screen, fam.
The devil is on the screen.
Devil?
The devil.
All right, are we episode 24?
24, yeah. Yo, it's about to get real, San Francisco.
That's like half a year.
Yeah, man.
Episode Kobe.
Word.
All right,
Can't say that though. Somebody gonna get mad.
I'm gonna just roll it.
Who
Yeah,
that?
yeah. That's cool.
He's sensitive.
Huh?
He's still sensitive.
Somebody will be.
Hey, man.
It's blasphemy.
He's the real dude, though.
Yeah. I mean, but you can pay homage however you want to pay homage.
Word.
I mean, he's a fucking legend, so.
Nice.
And we're live.
You know what I'm saying?
We live?
We live?
We're live.
Is this thing on?
It's
Ooh.
on.
Yes, y'all. You are now tuned in to the Melodrama Podcast, episode 24. I go by the name of Speak Easy. I'm joined by the crew. We got Deem on the 28s and 29s, looking very, very festive.
Word, fam.
Happy
You know what I'm saying?
Festivus, people.
You know what I'm saying? We got Big Trip. What's going on, bro?
Changing my name today.
What's
Just
your
for
name
Easter.
today? What's your name gonna be today?
Teddy Bear, the motherfucking God.
Nice. Teddy Bear, the motherfucking God. Speaking of, last but not least,
San Fran about to feel wrath.
look,
San Fran about to get the
hey,
wrath.
why is this nigga creeping through the fog and creeping through the smog?
Coming for you. I never liked that bridge anyway.
Boom, 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 boom.
You know what I'm saying? Straight up.
We got
That shit
Jay,
freaky as hell.
Jesus, the motherfucking God. What's going on, bro?
What's good, peeps? What's good?
Man, dude. So, it's been another interesting week.
Man.
Depending on how you're choosing to live your life, it was interesting or uninteresting. You know what I'm saying? So, we have, things continue to kind of, people are trying to push the culture forward, releasing music, content, and all that good stuff. That's great.
Word.
Fantastic. But then, in the midst of this whole pandemic shit, then we had just this election this past week.
Yeah.
And, folks in Wisconsin, specifically Milwaukee, were put in a fucking bad spot. It's like, okay, social distancing, but go vote.
Man.
And if you don't know kind of what happened, I mean, pretty much there was an attempt to stop it, postpone it by the governor. Supreme Court said, nah, nigga. And then, bam. So I just kind of wanted to talk to you guys to maybe get your thoughts and feelings about this whole situation. And then maybe we can even leave this conversation with a takeaway about what we as everyday folks should be doing if we have to go through some shit like this. So I don't know, who wants to kick us off?
Man, well, first of all, that damn election is the reason I'm back. Milwaukee next. I'm finna fuck up San Fran, and then I'm gonna go fuck up Milwaukee. That's why I came back. That's how bad that shit was, man. This shit is unreal. It's unreal. I couldn't believe it myself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But now, hold on, man. This shit freaking me out. I'm gonna have to
When
go back to the regular.
He said, I'm coming back for Milwaukee.
Yeah, that shit freaked me out. But dog, I don't do conspiracy theories. Right?
Okay.
Most times that shit is unfounded. Cats claiming that they know shit they couldn't possibly know.
Word.
You know, so now the voter suppression conspiracy theorists are saying this was the plan the whole time. The fucking pandemic wasn't involved the whole time. That can't be the plan. But there is some voter suppression going on. So, but they got it wrong. They think that was the plan from the beginning, but it wasn't the plan from the beginning. It just happened to be the result. You dig what I'm saying?
Understand.
So it's like if you see a motherfucker you love and they need your help, you're going to help them with everything you got.
For sure.
If you see a motherfucker you hate that needs your help, you might keep walking.
Right.
That don't mean you put them in that situation.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But when it comes down to them needing you, and you like, I don't fuck with you just keep moving and you leave them short. And that's what happened, dude. Once they got to, the voter suppression happened, once they realized we only had enough trained poll workers to open 5 polls out of 180. As soon as they said all we got is 5, that election should have been postponed.
So what happens?
You know what? That right there in itself is, I agree with you. It's not voter suppression, but they're suppressing the truth as well, because one of the girls that I shoot with for photos or whatever, her husband is in the National Guard. They actually brought in National Guard people to work the polls. I think the thing is, like you said, that it wasn't the plan the whole time, but I think once they saw the opportunity to make bullshit happen,
that's what they did.
They acted on it.
But you know what though, Trip? The National Guard were trained to work lines. They weren't trained to do what the guys were doing inside. And those are the people that, and I don't blame them. Those are the people that said, you know what, man, this is a fucking pandemic. I ain't coming. I'm not coming. So when you finally get in the building, the people that are at the tables, the people that are teaching people how to vote, how to, fill out the ballots, all of that, those people, those are the people that decided not to come in. Now, some started as early as the last week of March. I think one of the homies, he said they run a poll through his Mason Lodge, and he was like, man, we told him about the 25th of March that we not opening. We don't have the people, so we won't be open. And then, but there was some of the polls, they actually had National Guard present, but it was more like to help control the lines, not necessarily to help the process in the building.
Gotcha.
So Trip Homegirl was right on that. But so what, I know the governor tried to postpone this shit earlier, they blocked him.
Right.
The mayor tried to postpone it earlier, they blocked him. Even Lena Taylor tried to sue to get the election postponed earlier, and she lost too. So what the governor did was he was like, well, I got something for these motherfuckers, right?
I'm going to try to do this.
6 hours or whatever, like 6 hours before the election, right? I'm going to just say some shit and just shut it down.
Hail Mary.
Motherfuckers ain't going to be able to do nothing by the 7th. And then we gonna be good.
Yeah.
But he didn't
threw a Hail Mary.
The level of hatred in them hoes he was battling against. And them motherfuckers did what we doing right now.
They said,
and convened the Supreme Court and shut that shit down like 20 minutes later. It was actually like 2-3 hours later.
Wow.
Nah, you can't do that. We have an election tomorrow. Dude, the only place where that few polls was open and still had an election was Milwaukee. Out here where I am, every poll was open. Brown Deer, every poll was open. Madison got like I think 90-something poll locations. They had almost 70 still open.
Yeah.
Milwaukee got 180. They had 5.
Yeah, because you know what, and like we said,
and but you know what though, Trip. But that's what I was saying about not caring about who it's affecting. Because it is a pandemic, you do have this social distancing. You are on lockdown at home, stay safe at home, stay at home, all of that shit. And you still told all those people, take your ass out anyway or don't vote.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying? It's something to that, man. That shit reminded me, man, it reminded me of that scene in The Godfather when that motherfucker said they animals anyway, so let them lose their soul.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
I mean, to me, it's like, well, Trip, what were you about to say?
Go ahead, my
before
fault,
I even
Trip.
start, before I
I don't
start
know. I
rambling.
forgot.
He forgot. I be babbling, fam. My fault. I'm gonna go back to being in the sky and shit.
I think the thing that just floored me was just the whole thing, like just the concept of social distancing and how contradictory it is for the whole thing of voting.
Mm.
And I'll be honest, I just put myself out there. I had to make a choice when it came to, okay, do I want to risk myself and my loved ones, to contract the virus, or do I want to go vote? Right. So for me, I'm like, okay, wait, what are we voting for again? Are we voting for this, and this? And it's kind of like this whole situation shows that, like, your vote counts, but it doesn't count as much depending on what you're voting for.
Facts.
At the end of the day.
We read that last week, man, over here where I am, man. It was a bunch of judges running uncontested.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's pretty much
that's
what it was.
That's not even just where you was. That was all over.
That's all over,
There was a bunch of uncontested people.
Yep.
And I think
a
the only one that was
referendums.
really contested was Barrett and Lena Taylor when they were running against each other. But I had to make the same choice, speak, because, like, unfortunately, I have a pre-existing condition. I'm a diabetic. So I didn't get an absentee ballot. And a lot of people didn't get theirs. And the election people are blaming the post office, but the post office are blaming the election people. But I had to make the decision. So,
yeah.
Am I going to go? And they wanted me to drive all the way down to Riverside. Y'all know where I live at.
Right.
Yeah.
That's all the way across fucking town. Am I going to go stand in line for a couple hours with all these people? And they were in line for hours and risk sick myself really bad or bringing it home to one of my kids. Like,
yeah, it's
so I had to. It was a no-go for me too. And I prefer to vote, but
it's like at what cost? It's like, I'm part of a board where young professionals are really out here pushing the envelope and they're challenging some of these institutions and shit like that. And I mean, there was a lot of national news coverage about just how how much of an injustice this is. I mean, I think what this does for me is like it was a lot of outrage. It was a lot of that shit. And but even before I go there, what do you think, or what do you say to the people that are like, because let's just be real, it's people that are like, if you didn't vote, no matter the pandemic or not, if you didn't vote, you're really like, you're not part of the process. You're what's wrong.
Nah.
It's still some dude.
Yeah,
that's the funny thing. It still was some people on that high horse.
Yeah.
It was still some people on that high horse. Like, how could you not
movie.
vote? I'm like, a pandemic and shit.
Right. They fucked up the process, fam. You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying?
They fucked up the process. It's the reason why I didn't participate. It ain't because I didn't feel like going.
Yeah, and my wife tried to get an absentee ballot, but because of
those people we got fucked up too.
Well, her name, the thing is, she couldn't do it online because of her name changed because we got
married.
She
had to re-register, right?
So because of that, she couldn't get one. So because we were just gonna do that, I'm like, well, I'm not gonna get an absentee ballot if you can't get one. Right. Okay. Because where we vote, where I would normally vote, is literally 5 minutes away from here, and the social distancing that they suggested would be perfect in that spot. Like, it would be perfect because of how they had it set up. So for me, like you said way back earlier, if there weren't enough trained people to work the polls, they didn't just realize that just last week. You know what I'm saying? Actually, like, how do you not know?
Yeah, they did, fam.
But how do you?
No, bro.
Come on,
yeah,
that doesn't make sense. How do you not know?
Dude, hold on, speak. Hang on, Trip. Hold on, Trip. Speak. When's the last time you called in sick?
I don't call in
I
sick.
can't remember. I
The
don't.
last time you called in sick? Last time anybody called in sick? Y'all in management? Anybody underneath you? When's the last time they called in sick?
Shit.
You call in right before you got to go to
Okay.
work.
Did they do it a month in advance? I'm
No.
gonna be sick on the 19th of April. That doesn't happen. It was cats calling in the day
No,
of.
but
My
what?
homegirl Pam, her group runs. She's a retired cop. She said her group runs a polling location. She was like, man, we get motherfuckers that show up at 7 a.m. and go smoke a cigarette at 9 and don't come back. I mean, they call in when they want to. Some people volunteer. It's some money involved, but it ain't a lot of money. She said it's like $130 for 12 hours. So most of the people are elderly, but fam, it was places that when they found out, now, like I said, with the homie, when he found out early enough, he wasn't going to have enough people, they said, fuck it and shut it down. But all the locations didn't do that.
But
that's the
honestly,
thing.
but for real, it maybe I got an ear to something that you don't. Because, I mean, we run in different circles a little bit.
Right.
But when they shut down the early voting, there was already rumblings about moving it from the 180 to like 10 locations.
Yep. And that's when they started trying to postpone it.
And that was like right when the shutdown first happened. And then they went from 10 to 5.
Nah.
So the training, and I've seen people get trained for the ballot shit. It's not that intensive,
right?
Of shit to do, but
yeah, like, Pam said it take about 2 or 3 days.
Like honestly,
okay, but Trip,
they had more people than people for 5 sites.
Okay, well you know what,
and to take and I'm just saying because like to take 180. And you move it down to 5 sites. Think about just me saying I got to drive to Riverside. Now, I normally will vote at the McGovern Park Senior Citizen Center. So think about all the senior citizens that would walk across the street and vote. How are they supposed to get to Riverside?
They not. Right. And dog, but check this out. So the homegirl said it take about 2 to 3 days.
Okay.
She said, depending on the size of the polling location, you're going to need 10 to 30 people per location, right? Then she hit cats with the $1 million question. You know what the $1 million question is?
What's that?
Which one of you motherfuckers gonna come work the polls?
Shit, them same motherfuckers that was at the lakefront and hooping a couple days before that.
Nope. So they not coming to work the polls.
So let me ask you.
Where's your pool to refill? Oh, that's a good amount of people. You know, 175 times. Let's say just in the middle, just pick 20. 175 times 20. That's a good amount of people. Where were you going to find that many people who were willing to work a poll during a pandemic in 2-3 weeks? But even to Tripp's point, the reason why the governor's plan didn't work, his last ditch effort, the reason why it didn't work, because when Walker found out he was voted out, y'all probably remember that the Republicans
removed
stripped the governor of his powers, right? So Tony Evers didn't have the power to shut down the election like he did. He didn't have that power. That power is in the Senate, which is Republican. It was on them to move the election when everything Tripp saying, when all of that went down, they were the only ones that had the power to move the election. They said, fuck that, we're not moving the election. That's why Evers didn't do anything in March when it first happened. You dig what I'm saying? Because he knew he didn't have that power no more, but he thought, really, like, I'm going to do this shit at the last minute, and then they can't do nothing, and it backfired.
So let me ask you guys something, kind of going back to what you said a little bit earlier about not being enough trained staff, so to speak, to work the polls. So, like, I think you guys definitely are like more politically savvy than I am. But I'm thinking from a management standpoint, right?
Right.
If I know I have a big project or a big event, as a manager, I have to make sure I have the right people. I can't guess I have to know, and I
Right.
have to know well in advance, and I have to have a plan to keep people warm to make sure that yes, they're still going to, honor their commitment to this particular project.
Right.
For me, if this is what we have to rely on, because like what you said, what basically that didn't happen, and there were not enough people
Right.
to work the polls. If this is what our whole like lives are contingent upon, this is yet another thing that there should be on some damn referendums coming soon. Then
Facts.
this is so flawed. This is just fucking flawed. Just from a very logical, A and B standpoint. This is just doesn't fucking make sense to me.
Here's the problem with that. Who writes policy to have it voted on?
Yeah,
they're the problem.
Our representatives.
Yep.
Our senators, our congressmen, stuff like that.
And they the ones fucking up.
And we got a Republican Senate.
Yes.
And they're not going to write policy to change something that gives them power right now.
Yep. Dude, you got to look at what was stopped. They said the governor does not have the power to move that election.
Right.
That was what the Wisconsin Supreme Court said. The United States Supreme Court, the big one, they said you cannot move the deadline for mailing in the absentee ballots because we had problems staffing the polling locations. Apparently they had problems wherever they processed absentee ballot requests because there were people that were getting their absentee ballots in the mail like the day or two after the damn election. They were that behind.
Yeah.
And when you get it, they tell you on the website, because the website, you can, when you request the ballot, you can also register on that same website. But they tell you allow 4 to 7 days to get the ballot and 3 to 5 days to return it. Don't ask me why the mail is so damn slow.
Bro.
But if you got your ballot on the 4th of April, it's too late to send the motherfucker back in. But if you read the envelope, it gives you a drop-off location.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what I ended up having to do with mine. I took mine to the drop-off location, which was closed. They had a drop box, but that's what I had to do.
Yeah, man, one of my colleagues, they got their ballots in the mail, her and her husband. His was empty.
That's what I'm saying, fam. Dog,
No,
the problem is, man.
I'm like, oh, so to me, it's like, okay, so it's so many different.
I mean, that's your right. You requested it, came in.
I didn't do any follow up to ask what they did.
Man.
Just
But from
right to vote.
Right, they did, Dima, because now so that happened, right? But the U.S. Supreme Court said, don't matter. You still can't count absentee ballots that arrived after that date. You can't move the date. So even if they made him right and got him his ballot, it still don't count anyway.
So if you guys were if you guys were teaching young people that, okay, we don't want y'all to go through the bullshit that we're going through. What advice and guidance would you give them? Because we know the importance of voting in certain elections and all of that. But
for this situation,
so basically, I'm saying, feed them some knowledge. Feed them some knowledge. Where should they be in a situation like this when they get older? They know what to do and why, and not wait till something like this to happen.
Before you guys answer that, I mean, it's fucking 2020.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cars that drive themselves. We have data information on everybody. Facebook knows everybody. You can spy through satellite on one individual person. When you sign up for Credit Karma or whatever the hell, they know all your past houses. They ask you questions on past cars you've had, every car. Anywhere you've signed, they ask you, they know your pets and sometimes your friends.
Yep.
They ask questions on that. How can you not have an easy system to go say, I'm this person and I'm voting, click, done.
Yeah.
There are like 5 states that have online voting.
That's so crazy to me.
Yeah.
You know why that is? Dima? Same reason why when we were talking about the teachers and tech as far as the online schooling goes, old people are terrified of tech. Old people are paranoid of tech. So an online election is easily tampered with. They don't trust it. So you got this 1940 ass technology we use in voting that's allegedly unhackable or harder to hack, and they got more faith in that. Personally, I would tell the young people, it looks like, given what happened this time here in Wisconsin, man, it looked like the only remedy is going to be absentee ballot. Like, you can request your absentee ballot right now today for the November election. You can sign up. When you request an absentee ballot, you can say, you know what, from now on, every damn election, I want an absentee ballot. You can do that today and get your ballot in the mail a few weeks before each election. Okay. That would be, anytime you get a lot of people involved, unfortunately, fam, shit get fucked up.
Well, no, that's
good. By getting that absentee ballot, you done took all them people out of the equation.
The one thing I kick myself for is that every day I go to the gym after work, and I would walk right past the early voting joint and be like, I'll do it tomorrow.
Yep. Oh, shit.
Yep.
Damn.
Not thinking about, like, oh, shit, they're going to shut the city down.
Right.
Because nobody saw it coming, but, like,
or we might get hit. We might get hit with the bubonic chronic.
Right.
Right. You know, so like JG said, if you got absentee ballots, request your absentee ballot. There are people who only do absentee ballots.
Yep.
And then if there's early voting, take advantage of it as soon as you see it. Avoid the lines. Avoid all the other stuff like this, because this stuff that just happened after you don't absentee ballot or you don't early vote, it's unavoidable because your hands are tied.
Yep.
And like we said, it's like, it wasn't a situation where somebody said we're going to give the coronavirus and sabotage this election that really doesn't mean much on the national level. Because that doesn't mean, it doesn't mean much on the national level, but it was one of the ones where, like, they saw an opportunity to take advantage of a system that was handicapped and took full opportunity and took full advantage of it.
Okay.
It's just like, if you coaching a game and, they got a star player and you ain't got nobody to hold him, but this nigga blow his ankle out in the second quarter and the backup is way subpar, you gonna go at dude, right?
Yep.
For sure.
So, and that's what it was. Like, Evers has no power because the lame duck law that they passed right before Scott Walker left office.
Yep.
And he tried to overturn it, and that got denied in court as well.
By the same people that denied him this.
So that's kind of what I'm getting at. So here's another thing too, that, like, nobody ever talked to me about politics.
Okay.
I think what we need to do, is we need to start educating our young folks earlier about the importance of voting. Because for me, I come from a situation where, like, I'm listening to Public Enemy, I'm listening to all this other shit, and I'm like, I grew up like, okay, I don't trust the police, I don't trust the voting system, I don't trust anything. But it's like, I wonder what would be, and we have to make a choice as this generation to, how can we educate people so, when we're like 70, it's 3-4 generations that know this shit.
Because here's the thing, we do tell people to vote. We just tell people to vote about the wrong shit.
Yep.
We always say vote for president, vote for president, vote for president. And we turn out in massive numbers to vote for president. And then we know we got the electoral college, so we know how that shit work out. But that next year, there's another election.
A big one.
2 years after. And nobody shows up. That's the election that kicks our ass
every time. So it's kind of like, but the thing is, like, but seriously, Trip, like we grew up together. Never have we ever had conversations about, we should go vote for alderman because X. And like, there was never, and like my grandparents raised me, they from the South. I remember asking my granddad one time to vote, if he was interested in voting. He was like, for what? He was like, in a way, in his own way, it was like pretty much saying the game is rigged anyway. And it's like, But because he been through so much oppression,
Yep.
you know what I'm saying?
But
that,
you know what?
who am I to argue with that mindset?
Right. But you know what those speak? And that's the lane that I attack in. Mm-hmm. We had talked about it on the podcast before. Your grandfather wasn't oppressed by the system. He was oppressed by evil motherfuckers in power positions in the system. Mm-hmm. And the way I explain that to the younger cats is you got to get rid of those motherfuckers.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying? You don't get rid of the DMV. How the fuck is DMV racist? You get what I'm saying? But if you put a motherfucking racist in charge of the DMV, you're going to see the policy shift.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying?
Because to me,
the system is a car, fam. The car go where the motherfucking drivers turn it to.
And you know we need to stop, like you said, we need to stop blaming the system, because a lot of the things that are plaguing communities, mm-hmm. specifically, let's just say this plaguing Milwaukee, the Metro Milwaukee area, mm-hmm. it's like, I don't know when, if ever, the majority will understand how powerful their voice is.
Yep.
When you put the right people in there for aldermen, it mm-hmm. kind of starts there.
That's where it starts.
And then work your way up. And I just don't think people really care about that.
You got to take a step back first, and you got to actually convince the majority to actually realize that they are the majority, because they still running around talking, saying, and acting like they still a minority.
Mm. Yeah, man. And I think that's where we have to get. To me, I think that's our responsibility as older people, to let people know, like, yo, I understand there might be more, people of non-color, like there might be more white folks outside of this motherfucker, but inside of this motherfucker, we're the majority.
It's not, G. Like,
it's really not.
If you look at the population, Caucasians or whatever you want to call them, I don't know what you would call, what's the politically correct term or whatever, but they're not the majority anymore. They're not. Population-wise, they're not the majority. Now, then you got to look at it like
they're changing the census to try to keep it that way on paper.
Well, not even on paper. On paper, it shows they're not the majority.
Really? This is news to me.
But we still believe that we're the minority because we're conditioned to believe that we're the minority. In fact, there's studies that show, and this is probably why Trump wants to build the wall, that in another few years, maybe 10 or 20 years, who knows, Hispanics are going to be the majority.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's been out there that's been information out there for a minute. Yeah.
But the thing is, so if you get people, one, you got to change the mindset of them thinking that they're the minority, because we're not. And maybe the numbers aren't that different, but we're not. When you talk about blacks or non-whites or whatever, you're not the minority anymore. But then you also got to change their mindset from thinking that every person that's not black is bad.
Yeah.
Because they think that every white person is bad or hate black people or don't trust none of them. And the thing is, there's some white people that are going to look out for you better than the motherfucker that you think is supposed to have your back.
Yep.
And you got to start getting to where, and I don't want to sound Martin Luther Kingish, but where you actually judging people on their character and not their skin color.
Pretty much.
Yeah, man. I think, dude, that's so important. And I think that's why this is where shit goes wrong in the media with so-called leaders, community leaders, whether you're local or national. It's always and I saw a clip of Noriega's Drink Champs, and he had like a gentleman on there who's like, I guess, from the nation or whatever. Mm-hmm. And this guy, he described it as his name is like Rizza Islam or something like that. This guy described it as intellectual gangbanging. He said this intellectual gangbanging is just as bad as Bloods and Crips. It's just as bad as Vice Lord versus Gangster Disciples. Mm. So you got, and the funny thing is, I didn't watch the whole show, but I attended an event probably late February and it was supposed to be a positive event, and then there was some dudes up there talking, and then there was another guy in the audience who kind of was interrupting the dude on stage because it was like, let's honor our ancestors or whatever. And the dude started just kind of kept naming out other dudes and other people, and like, if you go no, and I'm like, okay, it's little kids here. It was like an event to kind of to boost the self-esteem of young men and stuff like that. And you got these two dudes trying to outwoke each other in front of the very kids that they trying to teach about brotherhood. And I'm just like, dude,
that's the problem. That's what I was saying about the people in power.
It is, man, and I definitely agree. I can speak to the fact that, like, you know, being raised, hip hop raised me, bro. Like, yeah, I have my grandparents, but they have a certain set of beliefs, and they had a certain set of beliefs. And as I got older, I started to see how it differed. So then hip hop kind of raised me. So, like, the whole thing is, I've accomplished more things for the community working with a multicultural team than trying to just do a FUBU kind of thing. Like, I mean, so it's definitely like, yo, if you down for the cause, I don't give a fuck what color you are, let's work.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
let's
because
work.
you would think, man, that it would be a people thing.
Yeah.
That's what it's supposed to be.
It's got to be.
You know
and
what I'm saying?
This whole
but they don't
this whole pandemic has this, you know, how they say flatten the curve, right? You know, and I understand what that means. Humanity needs to kind of flatten the curve. We put these people as if they're exalted beings, right? You know, but this pandemic has said pretty much like anybody can get it.
Anybody.
So it don't matter how fucking rich you are. It don't matter how fucking poor you are. It's like, so it kind of like really like flatten the curve. Like, yeah, you can get it too. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, why I just picture a thug standing up in the middle like anybody can get it. Who wants some?
That's what it is, fam. What it is.
Hey, he got a shirt, and instead of Crenshaw, it said Corona.
I tell you, I've been looking for them motherfuckers, man. That was when it first hit. That was like, look, it ain't hitting no black people. I've been looking for them motherfuckers online.
Yo,
you know what I mean?
And then,
they
oh my, and that's another point you bring me to. Dumbass celebrities are shooting out misinformation that coronavirus is targeting black people. No, the fuck it's not.
Dog, when did?
I'm like, oh my God. Like, no, okay, have you noticed black people are at risk because of hypertension, this, and that. Which also, Corona says, if you got these, we at you. So it wasn't, the coronavirus is not a plot against the brother. Like, if you don't get the fuck out of here. Like,
so, and I knew this was going to come up when it first hit, but when they said pre-existing conditions, people always think like, oh, cancer and shit like that. They don't think that hypertension and diabetes fall in that category.
Asthma.
And it does.
You know, bronchitis.
It's a chronic illness. It's a chronic illness. And it's pre-existing, and it makes you susceptible and shit like the flu.
Yep.
Everything else.
Pneumonia.
Yes.
And pretty much anything else, because anytime you got something like that your immune system and all that shit isn't working at its peak levels.
Right.
Yeah.
It can't.
It's fighting that shit.
Right. It can't, because your body is at an imbalance.
Yeah.
And you're using medication and diet to try to balance it as good as possible.
Yes.
It's not, you know. So, yeah, as soon as they said that, you know, pre-existing levels, I knew that people were going to be like, oh, it's targeting black people. No.
Man.
More black people have these pre-existing conditions.
Yeah. And I think
by an alarming rate.
And I think that's what we need to really do when we really come out of this shit. It's like, okay, we can talk about kind of like JG, how you were saying when we were going round robin the last show, and I was like, I want to be a better person and all these different things. It's like, we also need to, we should not take all these things that you said, hypertension and all those different things. We shouldn't also, you can't sneeze without saying Corona.
Yeah, man. I think I got that Rona, fam. It's over for you, boy.
Like,
Corona.
They done got the black man, the light-skinned black man.
We gotta take those things more serious. Black
Fact.
people don't wait for a fucking pandemic to take. Oh, diabetes is real. It's been killing us, nigga. It's been hypertension, been killing us. Heart disease, been killing us. Like, I knew this stuff beforehand, but when I first started studying to become a personal trainer, before you learn anything about the body or anything about that, they say the top five things that kill Americans are all preventable from just a better diet and exercise. So I'm like, okay, so then, you know,
remember it used to be like car crashes and shit, but now it's not. It's all health.
It's us, and that also goes back to people in control. If you can, and this is not some woke ass shit, but you gotta be able to control yourself. You gotta have some sort of, like, for example, I can't control myself when I have potato chips.
Right.
Like, I can't. So I tell my wife, don't bring that shit in the house. It's simple, it's anecdotal, but at the same time, when you blow that shit up on a larger scale, if we're not making the right choices to make sure we have a healthy life, not just financially, because yes, there's financial literacy, but I think there needs to be literacy about health. We don't have, because mental health is taboo. And if we still dying of all these things, this other shit is taboo too. Like, I'm like, nigga, we just can't fucking put tussin on it, y'all.
Right.
Like,
dude, know what the funniest thing is? Be like, so when I'm at the gym, you know, you always got these people, trainers or whoever they is, and they be like, so what's your goal? And I be like, come back tomorrow. And they be like, what you mean? You don't have a goal weight you trying to lose? No. You don't have a goal, like, you trying to get built up? No, I'm just trying to live as long as possible. And my doctor said that one of those ways is that I come here at least 30 minutes to an hour 3 times a week and do this.
Yep.
So that's what I'm doing.
That's real shit. That's real shit.
They don't
that's people.
that.
That's people on their high horse though. Yeah. It's like, okay, no, bro, I can get you this, this, and this. Like, a lot of people don't know. Like, I didn't know shit about lifting weights until I started talking to Trip. Because when they used to make us lift weights when we played sports, but like Trip was one of the motherfuckers that actually did it. He was a football dude, and he was great at that. I was playing basketball. I was like, I'll never lift weights. So when I finally started to go down that route, I'm like, Trip, what am I supposed to do? Like, what am I supposed to do? And it's like that simple shit, like you said. These are my marching orders from my doctor. Right. For me to be a healthier me. So no, I'm not looking for a 6-pack. No, I'm not looking to be a GQ model. I'm looking to be as healthy as fucking possible.
Yeah,
man.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm 300 pounds, and this wasn't no fucking goal, but I'm here. Dig what I'm saying? I didn't sit down I didn't walk in the damn kitchen one day and say, I'm gonna try to get up to 300 motherfucking pounds.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Incrementalism, fam.
Yeah.
It was a lifestyle change, something I started doing different. My activity decreased.
Yep.
My diet did not, and gradually that shit go up. What Trip is talking about is reversing that. Fam, I got to reverse what got me here.
Yeah.
And you know what? You having a picture of some 21-year-old fucking fitness model on the wall gonna do more to piss you off than it is to motivate you.
Yeah, man.
Because it's gonna take a long fucking time for you to get there.
Yeah.
And you probably gonna just say fuck it by then. I ain't gonna never get. You're gonna get discouraged, dude. That's not what he's trying to do.
Yeah, and
you know dude, and them cats don't realize that shit.
And this is the reason why I wanted to steer the conversation here is because like our health is important. And I remember I talked to my kids and like my girl sent me a picture of me years ago, and it was like because my weight through the years has fluctuated from the time out of high school after I stopped playing. Like I played a 3 seconds of college basketball. After that, my weight has gone up and down through the years.
Right.
It's only been consistent. It's been consistent since 2009 when my grandma passed. Then I made a serious lifestyle change. But before that, from like 96, like 99 to like 2008, you can look at different pictures of me and you'll see a small me 2 years later, you'll see a big me. And I'm like, that's not healthy, bro. And like,
Nah.
when I was really pushing my fitness and shit, because, you know, social media, people think that people are thirst trapping, people are this, people are that. I was trying to motivate motherfuckers because I'm like, yo, I just know I got to do it. I know I got to be active. I'm like, I love my children. I want to be around for my kids. So like, I'm going to keep pushing this shit and pushing this shit because that's what we need to do. And you don't have to, like you said, JG, we're not going to, especially dudes at 40, because, you know, there's this one fitness guy. He's got gray hair and he's super fit. We ain't all going to be that dude.
Nah.
But we can do the things that we need to do so we can be healthy to be around for our kids. And we got to push that more. And I would even go a step further. If you have people in your life, like, yo, I love you. This is why I'm trying to help you get healthy.
Right.
Like, you don't got to do what I do, because I used to do all kinds of workouts. I used to do HIIT workouts and all this other shit. I'm like, look, I'm not as fast as y'all. I'm not as passionate about this shit as y'all. I found something that I like.
Yep. And but that's what you're going to stick with.
We got to push people. We have to push people, because us just sitting here on this platform, we all can say, yep, we understand we have to take care of ourselves.
Right.
But then there are other people in our lives, you know, it is on us. And these are sometimes uncomfortable conversations, but I think in this community, and the hip hop community, because that's the melting pot, but it's black, brown folks who, like, we got to get healthy. We got to get healthy so we can be able to not have these fucking odds like this when it comes to this pandemic, as far as who's falling victim. So
there's motherfuckers out here trying to do something about it now. I'm like, bitch, it's too late. What the fuck? You gonna start jogging now and shit? The pandemic is outside. The pandemic outside. What the fuck, man?
Now you're running out there chasing the pandemic.
You know what I'm saying? What the fuck, fam? It's too late for that shit.
He said you can't chase the pandemic.
You can't chase it, man. You need to chill.
Though, man. At least they
got it, man. But it's like you making shit worse, you know, man. How everybody in the house get the pandemic, man? Nigga mama tried jogging and shit and caught it from the motherfucker in the park or some shit. Like, nah, but I mean, I get it.
But
you know what?
No, but that's when, even what Trip said, and I ain't picking on Trip, because the same shit happened to me, but even what Trip said, his doctor said, hey, fam, if you don't do something, it's going to be all bad. And Trip said, oh, I better do something. It can't take that. You dig what I'm saying? It can't take that. Yeah. I've been doing something, Trip doing something. Yeah. It's good that Cass is trying to change, but it can't be nigga change or you gonna die.
But you know what?
That's what's
mine happened. Mine happened pretty much the same way you said it. So like when I went to the doctor, I was going to get a physical for my job or whatever. I think it was for a coaching job. You got to get a physical like every so many years or whatever. And my doctor was like, so what happened? And I was like, what you mean what happened? He's like, you've never, you know, because they can look at your records and shit. He was like, you've never really been a small guy. He's like, so what happened between now and back then that would make diabetes or whatever be an issue? Because it was never an issue before when you were younger. And I was like, you know, he's like, so did you play football or what did you do, whatever? It's like, yeah, I played football. I shot the shot put, you know, and all my friends was basketball players. So shit, when I wasn't playing football, I was on the court with them. Like, right. You know, even, you know, whatever. If I wasn't doing nothing but setting picks, I was running up and down the court. And he was like, so that's what it was.
Yep. That's what it was for me too.
And I said, what you mean? He said, it's not that you're eating any different. It's not that anything really changed with your body physically or anatomy-wise or whatever. He said, your activity level is not what it used to be. So he said, when your activity level decreased, you didn't change your eating habits. So you weren't burning off the calories you were putting on.
Yep.
He's like, so you got to get back active and he said, but you're older now. So now you do got to make some diet changes because your metabolism is slower and now you're a diabetic. So that's why, like, you know, I can eat some carbs. Every once in a while, I grab me like some carbs or whatever. But for the most part, like I can't fuck with the shit, and like that's one of the ones where you got to be strong and stand on your grounds.
Yeah.
Because somebody's always going to be like, oh man, you can do this, you can do that. Because when I first started making the switch, we would go to family functions or holiday, dinners or whatever. They're like my mom's crib or whatever, and you know how moms cook.
Right.
And and I'd fix my plate, and they'd be like, that's all you gonna have? And they're like, you don't want no dressing, you don't want no macaroni and cheese. I'm like, I can't. They'd be like, what you mean you can't? I was like, I'm a diabetic. I diagnosed with diabetes, whatever, not too long ago. Oh, that don't mean nothing. I'm a diabetic. I eat it too.
Yep. And that's where it go wrong. I'm a diabetical. I'm like, no. But the funny thing is, we do the exact opposite of what we should be doing as people of color. When I start changing how I eat, and this is well before I started, like before I even thought about being a vegetarian. But I remember being around certain family members like, oh, you too good to eat that now? No, I just learned that it's just really, really unhealthy. And I'm choosing to make a healthier choice. It don't make me better than you. I'm just trying to make a better health choice. And I think about how we cook in my family, all the shit that we used to cook. And I think about even like something like greens. After you put the oil in there, you put a little bit of, then you put the big ass ham hock in that motherfucker. Then them greens ain't as healthy.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? It's like them greens and you have a peach, but when you make that motherfucker a cobbler, bro,
it's more delicious. What the fuck is wrong? I bet Speak be lonely in the motherfucker at the barbecues, fam. He be over like in the corner of the park. He at the picnic table by himself.
That nigga over there eating Chex Mix dressing.
It'd be a motherfucker just randomly playing sad songs on the piano and shit. Like, what the fuck? Why you even come here? Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, pass him the asparagus cake.
I said, can I get some corn with no mayonnaise, no cheese, no salt, no pepper, no butter, no. Like, you just want corn?
Yeah, it's right there in the field.
He just want corn and smoke.
He said, put a little. Yo,
I just want corn and smoke. That's it.
I kid you not. One time I was hanging out. This is before I moved back here. I was hanging out with my guys from my lodge, and just spur of the moment. Yo, we done lit the grill, man. Come, like, especially in the South. Hey boy, we done lit the grill. Come on through. I'm like, all right, cool. Sure. Great. And then I get there, and then one of my brothers, he's like, don't even worry, bro. He said, I got some zucchini. I got some this. I was like, my man.
Yeah, see?
And it was like, so then afterwards, I was like, oh, yeah. Wasn't somebody else supposed to be grilling something? I'm like, oh, that's what you're grilling?
Yeah. Man, I'm trying to tell you, dude. Dog, you know what's funny, man? That zucchini is actually, that shit's scary, fam. It's a chick made like an apple pie. One time, it was really good, but it was zucchini.
Yeah, yeah.
But it did taste, I said, okay, yeah, it kind of tastes like apple.
Yeah.
So why the fuck didn't you just use the damn apples?
Yeah,
you
because
put the same amount of sugar and butter and shit in here on the zucchini.
Yeah, I mean, it's like basically an apple is not that unhealthy.
Right. That's what I was
it's
like,
probably, especially if you add all the other sugar that you would add
put
anyway.
All other shit in there, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
well, it depends.
This is a lie pie. That's what that shit.
You gotta find out.
That's what that shit was.
You gotta find out what kind of sugar she used. So she might have used a sugar substitute, and then she uses zucchini. And then the apple, even though it's healthy, it does have some sugar in it.
I would have caught that. I got a sensitivity to that fake shit. I'll just do less real sugar. I don't do the alternatives, man. That shit tastes different.
For real, I can't.
Yeah,
Sometimes
they mix it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So like I use. Have you guys used agave before?
Nah.
Agave
I know, dog. The last time I went to one of them fancy ass coffee houses, they had their sugar. The granules were real big. It was like raw.
Yeah, that's sugar in the raw.
Okay.
That's no condom sugar.
Yeah, I had like 70 packs of that shit in my coffee. I was like, they need to stop. I said, this ain't no goddamn sugar. That's what I told dude at the counter. I said, "This ain't no damn sugar, fam."
He said
this sweet. What the fuck?
He said this packet ain't gonna work. He said,
Right.
"Where's the box?"
Dog, that shit was in the packets looked like cardboard and shit. I was like, man, what the? He's
I know
like,
exactly what you're talking about.
Man,
But
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
It's
I know
not
exactly.
sweet though.
So for me, I don't even use that. I use
What they do, Dima?
It takes a while to dissolve.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wasn't patient enough.
No.
Okay.
So
No.
by the time you got it, you probably had a little pyramid at the bottom of your coffee.
It was some Jolly Ranchers at the bottom and shit. At the cup there. Cause I was like, yo. I'm like, yo, man, dude, he was looking at me kind of funny. I take a sip, cause I actually don't like coffee.
Mm-hmm.
My shit is cream and sugar with a little coffee in it. So that's what, you know what I'm saying?
So you the motherfucker to get the salad and then you just drench it in salad dressing and bacon and cheese and say, "I'm being healthy. I got a salad."
Dog, I'll lift
salad dressing with a little lettuce.
Yeah, I'll lift the food up and just slide some lettuce underneath it. Shit, you know what I'm saying? This is steak and potatoes with gravy salad. But nah, so that was I was just like, dude, damn, Dima, I'm gonna have to go back now and try that. It never dawned on me. I was just like, man, this natural shit weak in a bitch, man. And that's why I started going back to the gas station, dude.
Yeah.
They got regular.
Why you just gonna do like a flavored creamer?
Huh?
Oh yeah, you can do that
flavored
too.
Creamer?
Sometimes I do. I can't do none of that now since because at the gas station they because of that Barona.
Oh yeah, you can't do any self-serve.
Yeah, ain't no more self-serve.
You gotta stop at Quick Trip. They'll make your cup for you.
Nah, but see, they'll make your cup. They can't make my shit.
You can be like, no, keep going. No, keep going.
Stand there and tell them what to put in there.
Huh? No, they got all the cappuccino machines shut down, though.
No. At Quick Trip, because when he put down the order to stop, it's stopping self-serve.
Right.
So you can't serve yourself. So what Quick Trip did before they shut down the schools, because I go every morning, they put an employee back there by the coffee machine. Gotcha. So you tell the employee what you want and what you want in it.
Dude, are you sure? When was the last time you went? Because I was at Quick Trip Friday.
Which one did you go to?
I was working in Waukesha, but I was at the Quick Trip Friday, and they had police tape around the whole coffee section.
Damn.
Well,
They wouldn't even let anybody back there.
I went to the new one off of Highway 100, right off of Greenfield. But I ain't been to work in like 3 weeks, so.
Okay, dude, they might have stepped that up, Trip. No bull. They might have stepped that up.
This episode was gonna be called Coffee and Corona.
Oh, word. Facts. Hey, dog, you know what? I got some random shit. I'm gonna put you brothers on the spot, fam. We finna make some critical life decisions for other people.
All right, let's do it.
All right?
Let's do it.
So, over Zoom?
Dog, straight up. Check this out. Because this shit is going to happen, and it's going to cause a whole lot of problems.
Okay.
Hospitals ain't got enough beds.
Yep.
We all know this. Hospitals ain't got enough ventilators. Right? The only thing I'm going to give you is that in the scenario, you have one essential person, you have one non-essential. Right? Now, they already told us what essential is.
Right.
First responders, doctors, nurses, you know what I'm saying?
Funny thing, I feel weird telling people, because some people is like using that as a flex. I technically, I'm an essential worker, but I don't even feel like, that doesn't feel right saying, because there are other people that have jobs that are just as, if not more important than mine, and their company deems them as non-essential. Right. But whatever. So the scenario, one essential, one non-essential.
Right. You got one ventilator. You got to decide who gets the ventilator and who doesn't. By the time you at the point, we know now, by the time you at the point where you need a ventilator,
it's pretty bleak.
You about done.
Pretty
You know
bleak.
what I'm saying? If you need it, you don't get it, you pretty much out of here, right?
Wow.
So what's your criteria, fam? We got, they said age, right? So
I was.
if you got a 60-year-old non-essential and a 25-year-old essential, that's easy, right? To us being out here not making that actual decision in real life.
Right.
What if it's reversed? What if you got a non-essential 25-year-old college graduate and you got a 53-year-old cop
with pre-existing conditions
and you got one ventilator?
Wow. So I guess my train of thought immediately goes, if you're a medical professional, is this part of your training? Like, I don't want the only thing that comes to mind is disaster training. Like, I know people that work in the military that do these things, they're trained a little bit different, but I wonder, do just any nurse that we might know, or nurse practitioner, whatever, I wonder, is it in their training, in their protocol for them to make these judgment calls, if there's some sort of curriculum?
It's still, it kind of is. It's got to do with survivability.
Okay.
Right? But in a pandemic, but see, typically that survivability ain't got shit to do with essential, non-essential.
Correct.
It's, if you a 50-year-old cop, but you got a million pre-existing conditions and this 25-year-old gonna live, then they're gonna get the medicine.
Okay.
And not the cop. You dig what I'm saying?
I'll give you my answer.
Because we're in this pandemic,
right?
The essential, non-essential thing, now that's a factor.
So this is what I'll give you my answer, and I'm interested in what you guys will say. Knowing the very little that I know about being a medical professional, I'm gonna go with, as you were saying, JG, I'm gonna focus on survivability, and I'm not gonna pay any attention to essential, non-essential.
Okay.
That's what I would do.
Okay. That's one way to look at it, because you know what's gonna happen. Them non-essentials and the essentials, when you look at what they consider to be essentials, you don't see us.
Yeah.
We're the minority in all those essential
I saw something
groups.
that said only 1 out of 6 African Americans are able to work from home.
Do you see what I'm saying?
I just saw something like that.
And then you look at the makeup of the police force. And then you look at the makeup of the first responders, the fire department, the paramedics, the first responders. And you look at the makeup of the medical field.
Yeah.
We the minority. So what that means is you're going to have a lot of scenarios in which you're going to have a young, viable African-American and a non-African-American essential. And they're going to pick the essential. And then the fallout is going to be, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's why, and now when you think about it, that's not even on the person that made the decision.
Yeah.
You can't be mad at that person. That medical person ain't got nothing to do with the fact that the police force is virtually non-minority.
Yeah.
That's life. But if we dealing with this pandemic and we trying to avoid riots in the streets and we think we need more first responders, they're going to want that cop over some 25-year-old motherfucker that work at the bank.
Yeah, man. It's really fucked up, man.
You know what I'm saying?
And I think that's why, I often, we were talking about, whomever's down to have something and make a movement, that's what it's about. And it's less about your color and stuff like that. And you know how, and this is not a knock on Farrakhan, but there was a Million Man March and there was another one. And there were, there was some marching orders for people to go out and do in their communities. By and large, I would say that failed because I don't see anything that's even remnant of the Million Man March. But I would say out of this, people of color, communities of color need to come out of this whole situation and say, these are things that we need to make important. Number one, caring about our health, caring about our mental health. And because there's so many different people, I mean, historical trauma is not even debatable. We need to start taking care of our, being more financially literate, and then at the same time, financially literate. But then on top of that, we also need to like, okay, do we push or promote certain types of fields that people should go in? Because like I know Joe Coy, he's a comedian and he talks about it all the time, and like my wife tells me as well. She's like, in the Filipino culture, you're told to be a nurse or be some. It's just, and then other cultures, like I remember when I was doing an internship, I was talking to a psychiatrist before her before rounds. She said, I come from a family of 7. We're all doctors. She's from India. Do we stress the importance of having representation in these fields, and how? If so, how?
Well, if you talk to most sisters now, they'll tell you that you will actually hear the statement that the entire medical field is racist against Black women because we are not represented in that field. Dig what I'm saying? So that was kind of the point, man. I was just going to throw out, 2 people and y'all pick who get the ventilator, who get to live, and who get to die.
Well, yeah, and Dima and Trip, what were you guys, if you're hit with that scenario, what would you guys do?
Like, okay, Dima, you got a banker, 2 years out of college, 25-year-old banker. You got a 57-year-old firefighter.
Both are.
Who gets the ventilator? They both need a ventilator, but you only got one.
I'm going with the 25-year-old. I'm going with the 25-year-old. He has a lot of life ahead of him. We don't know what his impact is going to be on the world, yet. Not to say that the 57-year-old is a throwaway, but at least at 57, you can say that he's lived somewhat.
I see what you're saying.
And the thing is, according to what they're saying, that even if you give that 57 or 60-year-old the ventilator, it doesn't mean that they're actually going to recover. It might just keep them alive longer, whereas the 25-year-old really has a higher percentage of actually walking away and living life after Corona.
See,
that was the knock at first. It was the age thing at first, and then young cats started acting like they was invincible, and then 22-year-old motherfuckers dropping too.
But you gave me a 25-year-old that made some kind of okay decision and went to school, and I'm not saying he's perfect,
right?
But he probably not out here drinking lean and popping perks. You give me that 25-year-old, I'd say he's in better health than a lot of the 25-year-olds that are falling victim to the Rona, because they don't understand that you popping perks and drinking this lean and doing all these drugs and stuff, that you're doing some damage to, I would assume, your immune system as well as like the other organs in your body.
Right.
So that 25-year-old that's doing all them illicit drugs and whatever, his liver and kidneys is probably already shot anyway, as well as his lungs, because they ride around and smoke pounds of weed all day.
That remind me, I gotta go to the liquor store.
Right. Right. But I like how you did that though, fam, because I ain't say nothing about survivability though. So I like how y'all basically saying that y'all both saying that essential, non-essential wouldn't matter to you.
Yeah, because
it's liability.
Well, you know what?
And that's fine.
I think essential, non-essential has become, and maybe I just take it personal, it's become like the current class status or racism.
Yes.
Or whatever, because people are like walking around, they're like, I'm essential in this motherfucker. I'm essential in this motherfucker. And it's like, yeah, you a janitor at the hospital. You essential as fuck. And not to shit on nobody's job. The thing is, what people took it so far that they think that it makes you better or higher than somebody else. What essential means and non-essential means is that your job cannot be done from home.
Yep.
And your job still needs to happen.
Yeah.
So we need you to go in so that
Because it's some people working from home right now that are considered non-essential that make damn near six figures.
I see what y'all are saying.
You know what I'm saying?
I gotta disagree. I gotta disagree with that one, man. That may be the colloquialism that niggas is using.
Yes, that's what we're saying. Yes,
but
that's what we're saying.
I'm talking about what essential, non-essential actually is. In other words, none of us know when this shit gonna be over with.
Right.
Right. None of us know how long it's gonna go on.
And you can't turn the world off.
You can't turn. So do I want a fucking banker out here, or do I want to make sure we got enough cops, firefighters, paramedics, doctors and nurses out here until we get through this shit?
No, no. We know where you're getting at, JG. Yeah. But what Trip is saying, what has happened, and this is the crazy thing is about people. That's why I think people is actually going to prolong this shit. Mm-hmm. The fucked up part is it's become a flex. It's become like I'm part of this class.
Right.
It's like it's like a caste system all over again. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm essential.
Right.
And like there are people like, yeah, I'm essential. Yeah, that's why I said earlier, like I feel weird saying out loud that I'm an essential worker because I know other people have, and I'm like, guess what? It's the term essential is just like how people get hung up on the word female.
Right.
We as four dudes, we don't think that that's an offensive term because it's like you can. My wife is a female. She's a woman. She's all of the above. Mm-hmm. She's not just. So that's the same situation that's happened with this essential title.
Well,
some people
look at it like this too.
They don't run this. I ain't got no respect for stupid motherfuckers, man.
I know. So look at it like this though.
Go ahead.
So based on the way that the people are interpreting the terms.
Yeah.
They like, and they're not thinking it through because essentially you're saying that teachers and educators are non-essential.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying education is non-essential,
right?
Or schools are non-essential, but you got a bunch of motherfuckers who didn't finish school trying to homeschool the next leaders of the world.
Until this pandemic is over. Correct. See, that's the thing about the situation we in. This shit ain't permanent, but it's indefinite. I mean, we don't know how long it's gonna go on.
Yeah.
So these are rules that are put in place. It's like it's almost like it's a state of emergency.
Dude, think about where I was preparing for the show today, and I went back to the episode that we recorded on March 1st.
Okay.
We recorded it on March 1st. We were still at that studio. We're still at the studio, and that's where I wore the mask, and we were joking about that. But dude, just think from that show how our mindset has changed. Like, it's like the more information that we gathered, because I'm like, oh shit, here we go again.
Yep.
And even back then, I'm like, okay, I remember H1N1. I do remember that. And I've heard about these other different things. So who knows? This shit is crazy, bro. The end.
Dude,
right.
You know what?
A few weeks later, it's like, holy shit.
Yep.
It's like,
that's when we found out your boy closed down all those pandemic camps Obama had, that were already set up.
Yes, like right around that same time.
Yep.
And I know you guys have seen. There's been that clip floating around of Obama saying, he was saying something about, this is maybe I think 2014 or something. He was saying something like, this is in case yada 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 yada.
Right.
So people who hate Trump. That clip is circulating rampant around.
He was
but
right.
at the end of the day, it's like it seems as if all things considered, that was a fail-safe plan, and now that was removed. So this leader of the free world was like, well, just holler what you call them, have them come back. It's so blatantly obvious. I mean, you can hate Trump for one reason or the other reason, but I mean. It's just, I'm looking at how dangerous it is just to have someone who just so dismissive of facts.
Yeah.
that's the part that blows my mind. And I know he's
not
not
opinion,
the sole person making these decisions. Yeah.
Not opinion, facts.
And
like
it goes back
facts.
to what you keep saying, JG, all the time. It's the people
It's
in
the people.
power.
Yep.
And it's just like the way that our current country is set up, the voting system is still set up the way it is because most people in power that run this country, they're cool and comfortable with that system because that's how they've maintained their control and their power.
That's how they maintain their control. Yep.
So it's like it's so many different things. It's like fuck, man. It's like we're definitely running that race, and we got to run that race double time. We got to run that race double time to get what the fuck we want because it's just this
at the right time. You ever notice how every presidential election we get the group of people start to vocalize about how stupid a two-party system is, how we need to get rid of electoral college. They always do that during presidential elections.
Yeah.
They never do it the day after a dumbass president get elected, which is when you should do it. Because that's when you start the process to actually getting that shit eliminated. But when they do it during the presidential election, all that does is divide voters.
Yeah.
You got motherfuckers saying, I'm not voting. You increase state power. You got motherfuckers siding with them because I'm not voting, the system rigged anyway. Whoever I vote for electoral college is going to put in who they want. So fuck it. And then you end up with Trump as the fucking president.
Because then, like, when you think about I was listening to a podcast earlier this week, and they were talking about, because I don't know, I haven't, is Biden, I mean, is Bernie out now? Is he officially out?
Yeah, he suspended his campaign.
So what happened? So I was listening to this podcast, and this guy, he was like a super duper, like, huge Bernie supporter. And he was like, I'm so fucking pissed off at Bernie because he doing the same shit to us that he did to us the last election.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just saying like, and you can't just turn it off and say, okay, I was just kidding about all the bad shit I said about this person. Go vote for them. Right. So it's like, I mean, it's just, I don't know the right way. I don't know the wrong way. I just feel like, it's like emotions being involved, but it's like if you're trying to make a political shift, I mean, and this is where the whole people love to criticize people voting for the lesser of two evils.
Right.
But okay, Bernie, let's say Bernie's my guy, he's out. Isn't it on me to now make an educated decision of who's best for me?
I think so.
This is that, and that is, in my opinion, and I'm not a political analyst, but that is exactly why he suspended his campaign.
Talk to me.
Because 4 years ago, he didn't.
Yep.
And he went head-to-head with Hillary. And what happened is people are loyal to a fault. And when Bernie lost, instead of people saying, okay, we'll vote for Hillary so Hillary beats Trump, they were so loyal to Bernie that they didn't vote at all.
Okay. Yep.
So I believe that Bernie is saying, look, I don't have enough delegates. There's no reason for me to go head-to-head with Biden because if I lose again, then the people who are supporting me right now will not jump on board with him. But if I pull out now, I give them enough time to accept that I pulled out and to vote and get dumbass out of office.
Bernie did what his followers need to do. They probably won't, but Bernie did what his followers need to do. He basically said, look, man, I don't have a shot. I don't have a shot. But y'all need to do what you need to do to get rid of this motherfucker that's in there. But you know what I'm saying? Last time he didn't do that.
Now, what he needs to do now is spend as much time as he spent campaigning for himself, campaigning to his same supporters for Biden.
Well, this is the problem. He's not endorsing him.
He didn't. He didn't endorse him.
That's been going on. He is not. He's saying he's a great guy, this and that, but he's not telling people.
So he's still playing with people's emotions. You still playing with people. You still playing. You still playing with people's emotions. So it's like. So to me, it's really fucked up. It's like everybody's just on a string, bro. Like everybody's on a string, and it's just like, damn.
But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, and this is what I've been telling Cass. I'm like, I don't give a fuck how you feel about Bernie. This shit wasn't even about Bernie, motherfucker. This shit is about the damn Supreme Court. This motherfucker, the next motherfucker gonna appoint 2 damn justices, man.
Mhm.
And either swing the court further Republican or could bring it back left.
And
You
he's
dig what I'm
already
saying?
appointed.
He already appointed
Trump
2.
is already appointed 2.
Yeah, and he
Yeah.
gonna get to go
So
2
you're
more.
gonna give him
Hold on.
He's locking the game.
The same Supreme Court that just told Milwaukee, y'all can't count ballots that come in late, even though you motherfuckers sent them out. Like that court, you finna put 2 more motherfuckers in there.
2 more. It's like it's like 16 shutout. It's like 16 shutout. They got 14 right now.
But here's the worst part. Once you're in the Supreme Court,
that's a lifetime appointment. Yeah, that's a lifetime appointment.
You just chill.
That's a lifetime appointment.
Supreme Court.
You don't have
Ginsburg is holding on.
Nobody can remove you after that.
She probably gonna die on the fucking bench. Literally. Yeah. She holding on that long for a Democratic president to get in there so that she knows she'll be replaced by a Democrat. As soon if a Democrat win now, she gonna retire immediately, and that probably be one of the first things the Democrat president will do is replace her with a Democratic judge.
And see, there needs to be more talk about this in communities of color as well. So, I mean, bringing it all the way back full scale to the election and the bullshit that happened. How many young people do you hear talking about these seats? Now, I have to be part of an organization where you're around a bunch of young people that do, but outside, and then fuck that. How come when I was coming up, nobody was telling me the importance of voting for Supreme Court judges?
Yep.
Because you didn't pay attention to civics class.
Nigga, I aced civics class. What you talking about?
I don't mean you just aced it.
But that was MPS civics though, fam.
Like for real.
But you know what?
You know what I learned out of civics class? I can name all the states.
Yep. But can you name the capitals though?
By singing a song.
But can you name all the capitals though?
Probably not now.
Nah, hell no.
Not no more. I used to be.
Because I don't give a fuck. I'm keeping it real. I'm a G, nigga. I need to know what the fucking capital of Vermont is.
But you know what?
Fuck Vermont.
They don't even have civics in school anymore now.
Nope.
So that's the thing, man. And I feel like we need to start educating. If we were the suppressed voters, if we were, like Tripp was saying, the minority mindset, we have to begin to reverse that by talking about all of these things.
We got to talk them numbers too, Tripp. We got to talk about them numbers. You're right, kinda.
When you say numbers, what you talking about?
About the minority thing.
So I mean,
their numbers are dwindling, in the country. But
I think technically on paper
it's
not.
Actual minority.
Yeah.
The whole them being the actual minority is if all the currently labeled minorities were one group, then they're the minority. Then Caucasians are the minority.
As long as they have the highest percentage makes it the majority.
If all of us that are currently labeled minorities were considered as one group, then they would be the minority. The Caucasians would be the minority.
JG, why do you think they won't consider us as one group?
Right. And that be on the census. And a lot of that on us too.
Well, some of it is on us.
Some of it is on us.
The other thing is that when you look at other shit, when it's beneficial to consider all minorities as a minority, they do it.
They do it.
Because college universities will count somebody from Africa, Jamaica, Cuba, whatever, as a minority to bring in more financial aid money.
Yep.
That's facts.
But
I'm Russian. I don't want to be part of Caucasian white.
You don't even have a choice, right? You don't have a choice. You have to check white.
So are you then going to be deemed a non-white Russian?
So how do you check? What do you have to check white because you don't have nothing.
Deem it a non-white Russian. Deem it an off-white Russian.
Deem it can check other.
Terrible.
Huh? But he's got a valid point though.
I don't want to be part of the group, but they just put me in there.
Do you remember? Okay, speak. Do you remember the I think she was the French teacher at Custer. It was a white lady, and she had a black husband. She had mixed kids. So in
Was she
conversation,
thick?
she was.
She
Yeah,
had to
that
be,
one.
fam. She had a
Yeah.
black husband. She had
But
to be.
in conversation, she
saying.
was telling us, and this is where like you get nuggets of information from teachers for a topic that they're not even teaching.
Yeah.
She was telling us. She said you have to use that line on the application to your benefit.
Yep.
And I said, what do you mean? She said, I'm white. My husband's black. She said, when I need my kids to be white, I check white.
Wow.
When I need my kids to be black, I check black.
That's facts.
Wow.
If I don't need them to be either one, I check other.
Yep.
So,
That's
And it's
facts.
not a
See,
lie
like the
because they
Dima.
are. Dima does not.
Yeah.
Dima does not have to check white.
Right.
Dima can check other and write in Russian.
Yep.
Oh.
But you know what? And the facts is, man, Dima is only white to a racist. The racists don't give a fuck if Dima Russian or Danish or whatever. Dima is white. You dig what I'm saying? So Dima is white.
To a true racist,
and we black.
And to a true racist, Dima's not white.
If they know anything about Dima.
Yeah, but
if
by looking at him, they can't tell.
I don't know. You don't know if Dima Russian from looking at him. You dig what I'm saying? That's what I'm getting at. Now, if you know Dima, then yeah, you're absolutely right.
He said the hat's not giving me away.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, the funny thing is, I'm not gonna lie, because when I first met Dima, I was like, oh, that's a dope ass gimmick. And then it's not a fucking.
It's not a gimmick, dude. When he introduced me, the first thing I said, "Oh, you the white Russian."
Yeah.
You know, like
yeah, it's like because I remember the beat battles back in the day, and he'd be on stage just chill with the.
At least y'all gave him that benefit.
Right.
Remind you, I went to Oshkosh, so we drunk a lot in college.
Yeah.
So when I heard Dima the White Russian, I was like, he must drink a lot of White Russian.
Exactly. Yep. Straight up. Dude,
He
drunk
was like,
all the time.
Look, if Busta Rhymes could say Pastor Cavassier, Dima can be the white Russian.
The white Russian, fam. That's a dope. Hey, when I found out he was white and Russian, I was like, damn, it ain't even a metaphor.
It was like,
damn.
There's only 5 years left.
God, that's okay. Fam, literal to the motherfucker. That's but it's dope. But it's just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
dude.
damn.
It's like real name, no gimmicks.
That's like
shit.
an MC that just uses full government name as his rap name.
You know what I'm saying?
Translation
That's dope.
Russo Blanco, because it sounds better.
Russo Blanco?
Yep.
That is a little more fly, fam.
Yeah.
That's a
okay.
little more. Say that again.
Russo Blanco.
See, now he sound like he got like a drop top Benz or something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like some Miami Vice type shit right there.
Nice.
Hey, you got to come up with a whole little intro, and you got to mix in the Russian dude talking from Rocky.
Oh yeah.
I must break you.
If
like,
you dice,
bam.
you dice.
So, on this topic, though, this is what frustrated me, right? My parents came here. They didn't know the language.
Right.
Odd jobs, be Santa Claus, clean houses, try to go to school, all this type of stuff. They weren't entrepreneurs to the point where they were trying to start their own businesses. Me, on the other hand, I am that kind of guy, right? So if I was disabled in the fact I didn't know the language, I had to come here, build a small business, go after loans, go after grant programs and stuff like that. But I'm struggling because of my ethnicity or my not understanding the language and this culture. Why can't I be considered a disadvantaged business?
You should be.
Business.
You should.
You should be. You know what? When
holy shit, nobody's talking about that.
When we were building Miller Park, this little poop butt ass roofing company got the contract at Miller Park. I mean, they wasn't shit, dude. They put gutters on fucking houses, and they got the roof at Miller Park because of what Demon's talking about. Dude found out his wife was considered, she was a foreigner, but she was like a certain percentage.
If you have a wife, woman-owned business is also considered.
It's a minority, right? But she got, and you get a tax credit, but because of her ethnicity, making her a minority again, she got double that credit. Dude put the whole company in his wife's name.
Yep.
They bid on the job and got it because Miller Park gets a government kickback
for having
from hiring a double minority-owned business. Wow. You dig what I'm saying? So you definitely should.
It's crazy.
I mean, shit, man. Your parents. No offense, dog. Your parents is niggas.
So
your parents in America, your parents is niggas, dude.
When I showed up, but it was different in school because of my not speaking the language. I was made fun of.
Yeah,
exactly. And now what? But check this out. What was different inside of you? You were righteous. You want to do well. You want to work, and you still denied that opportunity. Dima a nigga.
Yeah.
His parents is definitely because that's
just like. So is it because
without that language barrier?
Because technically, Dima, you're saying you're not considered minority.
So I couldn't go after grants. I couldn't go after special programs.
Wow.
I couldn't get benefit for having some kind of disadvantage.
He would
part of the industry and shit.
Wow.
The thing is, he would have to jump through extra hoops to prove.
Yep.
No, he's not.
They wouldn't let you.
They wouldn't let me.
They still won't let you?
I'd need to have the business in my wife's name to be woman-owned, or
wait, you were born here, right?
What?
No, he wasn't.
You were born here?
I'm an immigrant.
So you should.
But I'm considered.
Then that's why. That's why.
I'm Caucasian.
Okay.
That's what the box gets checked.
Yeah.
Damn.
Wait, you weren't born here?
Mm-mm. I moved here in '94.
From
Moscow.
Russia.
From Russia.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like
That's super literal.
God damn.
Jay-Z over here thinking you just Russian descent.
Yeah, I really was, fam.
Yeah, but you know what? That's the crazy. You know what? This is why.
Dog's like the way I'm speaking now is fake. I normally talk like this.
The funny thing is, I know you guys in all different facets, right?
Hell no.
I keep forgetting that you guys don't know certain things. Like because me and Dima with the music shit, I knew that, and I just automatically assumed, well, JG, of course JG knows that. So that's hilarious.
You know what, Dima? I know America
like
inside and out. Man, they probably think you're a fucking communist, dude, and they fucking with you because of that.
Mm-hmm.
I promise you that's what it is.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Because you definitely apply for all that shit you mentioned, dude.
Right,
that's
so when they're
bullshit.
making these systems, they're like, all right, how do we get the Russians out of it?
Yeah.
The white box.
Yep.
Yeah.
Put them in the white box.
Yep. She right, man.
That's crazy.
Damn, dog. But your credit score probably jumped about 80 points when you checked white.
Yeah.
You know.
But wait, so when people were saying that the Russians tampered with the election, did you just get really quiet and walk away, or what did you do?
He said, "It was my uncle." Damn, I hope Dima parents ain't listening. I'm sorry, y'all. It's just jokes.
It's possible.
That's just jokes. That shit offensive as hell.
It's possible.
No, they have for the most part came up with as much proof as they can that it happened, but not enough to actually impeach dude because they won't let people testify.
Yeah.
But that's why they came down on Facebook and other social media sites so hard because all the Russians had to do was post shit or promote shit via social media.
Yeah.
To sway the election.
Dima, you didn't get the tax-free shit, the free school, nothing?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
That's bullshit. Y'all know the reason why there's so many Indian doctors here is because of that shit. They got like a lot of free school and a lot of grants.
Minorities.
But I guess Russia ain't got that oil.
Paid.
They actually get
Say that again, Dima.
Some of these people get paid to come here and go to UWM. They're driving around in BMWs, Mercedes.
Yep.
They're paid for to be here, and then they get their education and they leave.
And they go back home.
And that's why
they sit for free.
Yeah.
And then the ones that stay, they stay and they'll live basic as fuck and send the money back home.
Yep.
Yes. Yes. Yep. A lot of from the time I used to work at the medical college, a lot of people that were here on their visas is like, I have a very modest life, but I send money back home. I just think, and I love to learn about different people from different cultures, because being African American, it's like we have a culture, but we don't really have a culture. That's
Right.
why we say I'm hip hop culture. That's my culture. But it's really interesting. Like, so I've had conversations with Dima about these are some of the things that we do culturally.
Right.
I can talk to my wife. These are some of the things that we do culturally. One of my brother-in-laws is from the Gambia. There's certain things that they do. And I think when it comes to us, it's like, we're like, well, what's our culture?
Our culture is adaptation and survival.
Yeah. And
that's
trauma.
Our culture, fam.
And unfortunately,
our
trauma.
Our culture is making a way and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Like literally.
Yeah,
so
it's literally is.
And I think, you know, again, and we'll come to a close in a little bit, but I think this just really, you got to come out of this shit with something. You know, you don't have to be I'm not going to come out of the pandemic being a better guitar player. I still like that shit. I still play, but that's not what the most important thing for me. What I'm trying to do now is double down on, I need to learn more about this shit. I need to be more educated. I'm really trying to get my imprint in this public health sector, but it's like, I want to, and then I want to also, like, I'm going to keep leaning on you guys. Like, yo, when you know, like, you teach the people who you know want to receive the knowledge. We're not gonna get out here and get 4 matching soapboxes, but you know, through our life, we're responsible and we influence a lot of different people. We got to do our part by letting people understand and helping them understand the importance of not just president, not just mayor, not just governor, all these other things, like these justice, these seats. This shit right here is like, man, because we have done these different things and we've kind of been on autopilot as far as how we vote and who we vote for and when we choose to get outraged. Situations like this happen where now we're Monday morning quarterbacks. You know, we can talk about 2020. Yeah, that's beautiful. Great. But do the work on the front end, man. So
that's facts.
Yeah. So
this shit ain't a dog. Man, you know what, dude? I'm gonna say something else on that. All you, soon as the pandemic over, the party y'all need to shut the fuck up. Straight up, y'all need to shut the fuck up.
Say
Otherwise,
more.
Be pandemic part 2, nigga. Immediately after this shit get released. You know what I'm saying? We gonna have to change something.
I've heard China's actually being hit with their second wave.
Yeah, dog. Well, you saw what happened, man. Well, first of all, again, what I said to New York. Motherfucker, if you live in China, move. There's too many motherfuckers over there. It's too small for, as big as that country is, it's too small for the amount of motherfuckers there, y'all. Move, hey man, we got AC units, nigga. Move to the desert or some shit, but it ain't nobody. We need to spread out some.
But yeah, man.
But nah, there's cats planning that shit already. The day parties and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That shit gonna come. They gonna let us out on Monday and niggas gonna be back in on Wednesday.
Dude, we had a really big event planned that myself and my team were putting together through my job, but it was really a way for me to bring my passion for the community professionally and personally to one space. We were being very well planned and strategic on all these different things. And the event is scheduled for slated for August, but I'm like, in all honesty, now as a leader where my voice matters and I'm responsible for my team, and then we're trying to bring all these vendors, it's like, and my organization, I really appreciate how they've been moving, make sure everybody's taken care of, but it's like, you got to look at that now. I don't want to do that event this year. I don't want to do that event this year because I couldn't have on my conscience, let's just say we get the green light to go back to business as usual. Everybody, I personally, I don't think it is, but I'm just saying hypothetically.
Even when they let us out, it's not going to be business as usual for a long time.
But that's what I'm saying. So for me, let's just say, even if it was on my conscience, there's no way I could do it. I would be pushing it to next year, no matter what. Even if they said, okay, yeah, you can do this, because we gotta again be responsible. Like, yo, let's not create another situation. You know what I'm saying?
I don't even know if I was in charge of planning the company Christmas party, I might just say ain't gonna be no fucking Christmas party this year.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? Because we gotta get through the shit.
Yep.
We gotta process what happened, prepare to go forward. You dig what I'm saying? And make sure ain't no blowback. It's a lot of shit that's gonna happen before this year is over with, bro. I'm like, man, I'm kind of on chill until I know for sure this shit is, you know, it's gone. And if it come back, it's gonna be small. It ain't gonna be what it was. And then maybe start looking into getting back to business as usual. But like, dog, I'm pretty much done for the year. Once they cancel my son in them state championship tournament, fuck this year anyway. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, don't nothing else matter now. You know what I'm saying? So
I feel you. I keep saying,
better have a secret Santa and keep that shit
and
moving.
Keep it moving, fam.
I keep telling my kids that because people the problem and they don't want to stay home, we're gonna end up having a Corona Christmas.
Yep, we're gonna have Corona Christmas. Corona Christmas, my nigga.
But you know what?
Get it right, fam.
Here's the bigger issue. Here's the bigger issue.
Your favorite color red, my dude, is Corona Christmas.
Here's the bigger issue, and not to minimize the stay-at-home part. The stay-at-home part is you know how sometimes you have to take things to an extreme to get people to do the minimum of what you want them to do.
True.
Yeah.
They don't really. Anybody that's really smart or can actually think independently, they don't really want you to stay in your house 24 hours a day.
Dude, that was the most beautiful insult, dude.
But what they want you to not do is stop. Okay, we don't want large groups together. We don't want people in the school. We don't want you throwing house parties because the club closed.
Right.
We don't want you going to the park playing 5-on-5 with a full court because it's outside. You think that because it's outside, you safe. Like, yeah, go outside, take a walk, but take a walk with you and somebody else that you already interact with on a daily basis.
Right.
Walk your dog.
But Trip, you know what though? That's very Midwestern thinking. Because even what you saying, dude, like, how would you do that in New York?
You can't.
When everybody in apartment, you know what I'm saying? Apartment buildings.
New York is a very special case.
That's true. That's what I was getting at. Like, we got yards and shit, my dude.
To live in New York, I think you have to be a very special person because as much as I'd love to visit the East Coast, New York, DC, shit like that, I couldn't live there.
Nah.
Because I don't like people around me consistently like that anyway.
Right.
So,
that's facts.
Trip would be in the middle of Times Square. Could you motherfuckers move?
It ain't never no room. Everywhere. It ain't never no room, fam.
Y'all would be on the sidewalk. I would just walk down the middle of the street because I would not be able to walk down the sidewalk.
Look. Trip played football. That's how my hip hop career started. I said, Trip, you go in and I'm gonna follow you, bro.
Yep. Man, sidewalk in New York, you got to be a fullback, man.
So I can't. I know we're the show is getting a little long, but I can't leave without. I want to just. We'll go around Robin and address this last mini topic. People are mad that liquor stores are open and bookstores are not.
Read memes and get drunk. What the fuck? Why is that a problem?
Here's the thing.
I've seen a lot of articles and shit about that. People are really upset.
If you're on Facebook, you're shopping on Amazon and all this other shit, you better take your ass to Amazon Books and download that shit and crack open a bottle of Crown Royal and drink and read until your life is delightful and happy. Like that shit is dumb as fuck.
Oh, so is it people complaining about that? They're super loyal to their mom and pop bookstores. Is that?
There are no mom and pop bookstores anymore. Where are they?
Just only like I think it's the one here closed, but
aren't there like a couple like on the east side and shit?
There's a couple, but dog.
Like, a couple.
Order some books from them motherfuckers. Actually, that would be better probably for them because ain't no overhead from them being open.
Dude, my son, his favorite author, because of the pandemic, he made all of his books available online for free. He
or
was
dude,
like
I said,
this is my contribution to stay
right.
at home. I normally charge motherfuckers to buy my book electronically.
Mm-hmm.
My son's reading the whole fucking series, and he's just downloading them electronically.
Right. But again, the trip to your point, if it's a mom and pop bookstore, order some books from the store online.
Yeah, and
You know what I'm saying? Because not like I said, they ain't opening the store. They not paying an employee, or maybe they are to just process the shipping order.
Yeah,
they don't have the overhead of the store being open all day. I mean, dog, just do it that way.
Here's the other side that.
And I don't know how I feel because the only thing I ever leave the house for is liquor.
Here's the other side that most people don't look at. If you shut down the liquor stores, right?
Okay.
What do you think is going to happen?
DV going up.
DV
Kids'
going
ass
up.
whoopings going up.
You got people that already are on the chemical dependency. They're going to go through withdrawals.
Yeah,
so that's going to affect the health system. And then you got the dumb fucks who are going to start making moonshine and shit in their basement.
And they're going to add that one chemical, the chlorine that they say cure corona.
Chloroquine, yeah.
Or shit, they're going to blow some shit up because it's a science to that shit. They're going to blow some shit up. They're going to mix the levels wrong. They're going to kill some people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I at least wanted to bring that. I wanted to bring that here because for me, it's like, that sounds cute, but I'm like, it's so many different ways to get a book. And the thing is like, people want some sense of normalcy. And it's like, I mean, and everybody that goes, that buys alcohol, that doesn't necessarily make you an alcoholic. So it's like, you can order your book online. You can safely go to the liquor store. You can do some other things safely. And so we can continue to make our way through this shit.
Like, here's the other thing you got to look at. You got to look at different neighborhoods. And growing up on 24th and Chambers, Love's Liquor on 24th and Burleigh, it was a liquor store, but it was also your convenience store. It had a small line of groceries and all kind of shit like that. So when you look at certain neighborhoods in different towns, you can't close the liquor store because the liquor store is the store that motherfuckers gonna make it to during this pandemic. Before
you know what, especially with a lot of these food deserts and shit like that, because the reality is some of these apps let people pay with Quest or food stamps or whatever you want to call it. Some of these food delivery services allow that. Others do not. So it's like, most people don't draw that connection that you did, Trip, but that is a fact. And then and it's not that they like having bad labeled shit. It's like some people are on the up and up with that shit, and this is the closest thing that some people got to some other decent, like, okay, I can get some more bread, I can get some more whatever, because they got it, and I can also get me some fucking hurricane.
Hey, but you know what, fam? Bookstores being closed. Bookstores being closed don't necessarily have to affect the sale of books. That ain't what the motherfuckers worried about. They closed them because bookstores sell coffee, bagels,
it's a hangout.
Food and shit.
It's a
hangout. They got tables and chairs and couches. That's what it is.
It's a hangout.
That's why they had to close them, because your ass gonna congregate at the bookstore all fucking day, because people don't like change. They want to be comfortable. You want to keep doing what you've been doing, and that's how that shit gonna be. They trying to stop the shit from spreading.
But it just shows our we're just so spoiled, bro.
Yeah,
as Americans, we're so spoiled. We just really feel like, like as a people leader, I've had some moments during this pandemic where I'm like, I shouldn't care about your job more than you do. I'm stressing out. I want to make sure we're all good. I want to make sure we're all on the level, and we're able to move and get as close to business as usual as possible. So our paychecks continue to be as usual.
Right.
And it's like, as a manager of people, I'm pretty thankful for my team that I currently have, because when they have already demonstrated prior to this that when we need to connect, we connect, like Voltron, and we make shit happen. But I can say there are some people leaders that are really going through it right now, because it's like, look, this is bigger than me and my title. I know so-and-so is being distracted. They're not performing well in this situation. I also know that person, let's just say, is a single parent.
Mm-hmm.
And I know they need this job. But I can't say that when I'm coaching them up.
Right.
It's just so many different things that are also that people don't realize that are going on during this pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it's something to be said. It's something to be
my
said
boss
about.
said all the time. What you talking about? My boss, she said all the time.
I
But
think
she also said,
your
like,
boss is a gangster, though.
She is.
She really
She
is. Like,
Mhm.
yeah,
really
so,
But
you know what I'm
like,
saying?
and she does like you do. Like what she'll do is that she'll send out what the fuck? Oh, she'll send out like websites, and she'll be like, I need you. She'll be like, I need you to review these websites,
Mm.
and she'll be like, I need you to put it on paper because I need to be able to continue to justify being able to pay you during the pandemic, so nobody can say that you're not needed.
There you go. It's just that simple. And the thing is, it takes a good leader to be able to have that real conversation like that. But then it also takes an employee to understand, look, I'm serious, motherfucker.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm serious. So it's like, but like, any parting words?
I need motherfuckers to understand society is not tailor-made. Y'all need to realize that. Who was that? What do you need? I'm busy.
Look, that
was the daughter of Jesus. I need motherfuckers to understand that it's not tailor-made. This is a fucking pandemic.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get to do all the shit you normally do to make yourself feel better, fam.
Yeah.
Everybody is taking a little bit of an L on this, and your ass ain't as special as you think you are.
There
fucking
you go.
Relax, man.
Yeah.
Follow the rules. We get through this shit, and then you can get back to your fucking limit tart at Starbucks or whatever the fuck it is you think you need to get through the goddamn day, which is worth everybody else getting the fucking coronavirus so your motherfucking ass can feel better.
You're pretty angry
That's
today,
how I
God.
feel about that shit.
All right, Dima, what do you got?
Oh man, parting words.
I'm finna bring the wrath on these motherfuckers.
I'll just give my input on the on that scenario I never got a chance to.
Okay.
Yeah, the firefighter, 50-year-old son and the 25.
Oh yeah.
I'm a numbers guy and kind of just more facts than anything. So I'd probably calculate, the chances of, have this factual stuff, and then I'd present them with the scenario and say, all right, who wants to take this?
Oh, you mean the
Wow.
patient?
Yep.
That's dope.
Wow.
He go.
They can
let them fight it out.
or talk it out or whatever.
Yo, I don't know. You
put it
might
in
be
the
starting WWE again.
He gonna put it in the middle of the room and let them fight for it.
Yo.
He go like, are you not entertained?
I'll show them the numbers. and say, hey, if we give it to you, the young dude, we can do some exercises. You might survive.
Yeah. Get them
not what
involved
you
in the
came here
decision.
for.
You're right.
Unfortunately, firefighter is probably going to be the selfless one and say, you take it. Young dude.
Yeah.
But
That's a good point. It's a good point. What about
Hey,
you?
but then you won't get sued though.
True.
True. Like
True.
the patients decided.
Right.
So, Trip, what do you got to say to the people?
Shit, I don't know, man. You know what? And we probably say this every week, but man, stop spreading propaganda to fit your own agenda. Stop telling people that they're using the pandemic to take away our rights and that they finna put us back in some kind of form of slavery or some shit. Like, why would they break a system that's already working to their benefit
Anyway,
to put you in a position where,
Oh my God.
you gonna fight whatever change they're trying to make. Like,
Dude, that's the dumbest shit I heard. Like, yo, you go on Amazon, it ain't no tissue or chains. How come you can't buy chains now? Holy shit!
Stop praying to me for that dumbass shit. I'm not answering those prayers, fam.
Like it's like I keep hearing like real dumb shit. Like okay, so in some cities, like the cities like New York or whatever, they stopped Walmart from selling non-essential items.
Okay.
So what dumb motherfuckers do is they take half of the story that they read and they come to Wisconsin or they friends in Milwaukee and they start spreading the half truth. Or I heard they finna make Walmart stop selling clothes and TVs, and then eventually when the food run out, they just gonna close the store.
Wow.
That's what they doing.
Wow.
I heard that all the gas, they finna close the gas stations. They're closing the gas stations next. So if they close the gas stations, how the essential workers gonna get to work?
Motherfuckers don't think. Dog, when you talking to some
sound right,
man. But you got to remember, Trip, you telling me something bad about somebody I don't trust. You tell them, so it's easy to believe that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's why
that's why it works.
Like when shit is just dumb. Like when shit is dumb, that you shouldn't, regardless to who it is. Like if it's just dumb, it's dumb.
Yeah, but it's people
you throwing under the bus. Like,
well, it's people out here that still think that you can be big boned. like
big
no,
boned,
no, they just big boned it. Like them people, the problem. That's right there.
That's what it is, fam. Hey, dog, I told you, man. It was like, you know, I'm not gonna believe doctors. I'm not gonna believe any politician. I'm believing my cousin that just got out of jail because he be knowing that shit.
All he did was read books.
He woke.
That's what it is, fam. And that motherfucker has the ear to. It don't matter what you say, man. It's who got the motherfucking ear to people. Yeah. Unfortunately, them motherfuckers got the ear to people. Fam, I had a motherfucker tell me it was foggy the other day, so they could hide putting up the 5G towers. What the fuck is wrong with you, man? It's a motherfucker that can fog Earth, my nigga.
He said, "Nah." I knew it. They turned the fog machine on about like 5:30 because it take a while to heat up. You know what I'm saying? And by like 7, that's all fog.
Fam,
man, look.
Did you see? You know what I said? I said, "Did you see a truck?" That motherfucker said, "No, because of the fog, fam. You can't make this shit up." It's that foggy, fam. You can't see a motherfucking truck, dog.
Oh my God, dude.
Up high and shit, you just don't see. Like, are you out of your fucking mind? Dude,
like,
I had a motherfucker that said, man, if you walk past a 5G tower, you're going to get sick.
Immediately.
You're going to get sick, dude. There's 3 of them by my house. Every time I walk past them, I get dizzy.
Hey, somebody
motherfucker,
said,
are you walking in the sky? My nigga, how the fuck?
Hey,
what?
Somebody said that wet stuff on the grass and on your car when you come out in the morning is from the helicopters that they said gonna spray for the coronavirus.
Dude, I'm telling you, man. That's the motherfucker that's next to you at the grocery store, Speak. It's a motherfucker's dog. Let me ask you this, man.
Don't let your dog eat the grass because it's on the grass.
It's on the grass. I'm like, fam. I said, fam, how big? I said, man, I've actually seen fog machines before, fam. Like, motherfuckers use them at concerts and shit. I said, man, how big you think a fog machine got to be to fog Earth, nigga?
Earth.
How big that machine got to? You think you would see that machine?
Yeah, like, where does the machine come from? Like, where is this located?
I think you would see that machine. Even, you know what? He was like,
my brother.
Right, he's like, well, I ain't saying Earth. I was okay.
They got fog machines in the sewers, my brother.
Dude, the fog machines that I've seen, they barely fog the stage. And that motherfucker pretty big.
Yeah.
How big would a fog machine have to be to fog Milwaukee?
Yeah.
In the air, these fog machines put that shit, it'd be down here on the ground. It ain't even real fog. These motherfuckers is filling the air, fam.
But going back to when I remember to make myself look like an ass, I remember arguing saying this is biological warfare.
You did
So,
say that.
I'm like, so what I personally believe, I believe on Pluto, they airdropped the virus. So that's how we got it. And if you got a droid, you're more susceptible to getting coronavirus than versus if you have iOS. So you know what I'm saying? Like that's what I had heard.
Well, Jay, Jesusly speaking, I'm only a god on Earth. I don't fuck with Pluto. So,
but you know what?
That might be true.
I'm safe.
You safe?
I only come to Earth to record the podcast with y'all, and then when we get off, I get in my spaceship and I go back to Mars.
Oh, okay.
Word. That's right next to
that's out of my jurisdiction.
That's you can get there. You catch the 12.
No, you can't catch the 12. You got to catch the red line.
Stupid. Dog said he get the Jupiter on the. Hey, the motherfucker that believe they fogged the city so you can't see them putting up 5G towers. The motherfucker that believe that, they probably do believe you could take the 12 tomorrow.
Yo, dude.
I lost so much respect for so many people, fam, because of this.
This is all population control.
That's what it is.
They put it out so they can come and they can kill the people that.
And it's targeting minorities because they keep having babies. So.
Okay. Funny. Here's the other funny shit. So my sleep schedule was all fucked up, right?
Right.
So there was this dude that was running for mayor of Milwaukee. I ain't gonna say no names or whatever. So he was trying to educate. He was trying to educate people on the virus, and he don't believe that the virus is true and that it's man-made and this and that. And he was talking about something about where it started in China, and he was trying to give facts. And he was like, "I wouldn't live in China because they only let you have 2 babies." Update. China has retracted that law a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Right. Because they don't have enough young people to fund the economy system to take care of all the old people.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wow.
There's too many motherfuckers over there, dog.
I got nothing, dude.
They still need to move. But yeah, dog, these motherfuckers, dog, if it sound good, it's like, shit, man, it's almost like you run a game on the chick back in the day, man. The shit just need to sound good, and you got them.
Mm-hmm.
And now you got grown, educated motherfuckers out here dismissing knowledge that they already know for some shit that sound good, dog. This shit is crazy. I've never seen nothing like. I have lost so much respect for so many motherfuckers, man, that I thought
you gotta be woke
because of this shit, dog. It don't make no sense, fam.
Oh my God.
It does not make no sense, man.
I just think we will continue to have different things that come up. I would say, to kind of put a button on everything, like, number one, learn what the fuck you're voting for, and understanding there's more than one office that matters. You have to understand that, like, your vote means more in certain situations than the others, but also make sure you come out of this shit with something else to motivate you, not necessarily being richer, but be healthier and hold your friends and families accountable and shit. So we're going to bring the podcast to a close. This has been episode 24. And as always, we couldn't care less, but we fucking love y'all.
Exactly.
Peace.
Hey, if you come around me sneezing, I'm going to fuck you up. Dog, y'all see my fog? I'm starting my fog, dog. Y'all see it? See them brown, them clouds.
As we fade out the podcast, we're gonna get the fog.
That's my fog, dude. I'm starting it. I'm finna fog Earth.
This one too.
Gotta put up some more 5G towers, fam.
That is funny.
I stopped Spreaker. I'm about to stop Zoom. One thing I noticed.